The Starlight Awards has always been synonymous with flawless styling, scripted elegance, and moments so carefully choreographed that even spontaneity feels rehearsed. Yet on this particular night, it wasn't a speech, a trophy, or a dramatic entrance that captured the collective attention of millions, but a fleeting, almost invisible interaction so ordinary that it felt extraordinary. A moment that slipped quietly through the cracks of expectation and somehow managed to ignite one of the most talked about discussions online, because while professional cameras glided smoothly across the venue capturing polished smiles, perfectly timed applause, and the familiar spectacle of celebrity culture at its most refined, one fan-shot clip revealed something refreshingly human between Zhao Lusi and Liu Yuning, a moment that began with something as small and unremarkable as a piece of candy and unfolded into layers of curiosity, speculation, nostalgia, and emotional projection that no scripted segment could ever replicate. The scene itself was deceptively simple, the auditorium glowing under warm lights as applause rippled across the crowd like a gentle wave. When Liu Yuning quietly stood up from his seat, walked toward his assistant, retrieved a small pack of candy, and returned without drawing attention to himself, an action so understated that it would have vanished into the background if not for what followed, because instead of slipping the candy into his own pocket or placing it on the armrest, he turned slightly and casually handed it to Zhao Lusi sitting right beside him. No whispers exchanged, no deliberate eye contact held for effect, no exaggerated gesture meant to communicate intention, just a smooth, unforced motion that felt instinctive rather than deliberate, and Zhao Lusi accepted it with equal ease, unwrapping a piece and eating it without hesitation, as though this were a perfectly normal exchange rather than a moment unfolding under the gaze of countless cameras. And then, without pausing to think, she handed the remaining candy back to him, a simple return that somehow became the most dissected detail of the night, because Liu Yuning didn't hesitate, didn't place it carefully on the seat, didn't glance around as if suddenly aware of his surroundings. He simply took the candy and slipped it into his pocket with an ease that suggested comfort, familiarity, and perhaps a habit formed long before this public setting, an action so subconscious that it immediately triggered a wave of online debate, as fans replayed the clip in slow motion, zoomed in on every frame, and questioned whether such a natural response could exist without a deeper level of closeness. Especially in an environment where celebrities are notoriously careful, where even the smallest gesture can be interpreted as intentional messaging, and yet here was an interaction that felt entirely unfiltered, unperformed, and unconcerned with interpretation. Within hours, comment sections across platforms exploded with contrasting opinions, some viewers dismissing it as a harmless, friendly exchange blown out of proportion by overzealous fans, while others argued that intimacy doesn't always announce itself loudly, that sometimes it hides in the smallest habits, the kind of gestures people don't even realize they're making until outsiders point them out, and the context only intensified the intrigue. Because Liu Yuning didn't just happen to have candy on hand, he made a conscious effort to stand up and retrieve it, and Zhao Lusi didn't keep it. She returned it in a way that felt routine rather than polite, as though this exchange followed an unspoken rhythm familiar to both of them, prompting fans to revisit past events where the two appeared together, scrutinizing old footage, shared stages, seating arrangements, fleeting glances, and subtle body language that had once been dismissed as coincidence, but now seemed charged with new meaning, as if this single act had unlocked a hidden narrative that people were eager to piece together. Discussions stretched far beyond the candy itself, evolving into broader reflections on how real relationships, whether romantic or platonic, often reveal themselves not through grand gestures, but through quiet comfort, through actions that feel so normal they bypass self-consciousness entirely. And notably, neither Zhao Lusi nor Liu Yuning offered any clarification, explanation, or denial. In the aftermath, choosing silence that allowed imagination to roam freely, a choice that in itself became part of the story, because in an age where statements are often released within minutes to control narratives, saying nothing can feel louder than any official response. allowing fans to project their own interpretations, hopes, and experiences onto the moment. Some viewers saw themselves in the exchange, recalling small habits shared with people they trust. The casual way objects are passed back and forth, the absence of formality that signals comfort, while others approached it with skepticism, reminding fellow fans not to confuse warmth with romance. And yet even the skeptics couldn't deny that the moment felt genuine, unpolished, and refreshingly real, qualities that have become increasingly rare in an industry built on precision and image management. And that authenticity is precisely why the clip resonated so deeply, because people don't just crave confirmation or gossip, they crave connection. They crave moments that feel relatable and human, moments that break through the glossy surface of celebrity life and remind audiences that beneath the styling and spotlight are individuals capable of simple, instinctive kindness. As the conversation continued to evolve, it also highlighted how modern fandom operates, how a few seconds of footage can generate thousands of words, how meaning is collectively constructed through shared observation and discussion, and how even the smallest detail can become a symbol larger than itself, representing comfort, trust, or the possibility of something unspoken. And whether the exchange was merely an act of friendliness, a sign of close companionship, or something deeper intentionally left undefined, it succeeded in reminding audiences why they remain emotionally invested in celebrities in the first place, not because of dramatic declarations or perfectly edited moments, but because of fleeting, everyday gestures that mirror real life, gestures that feel accidental rather than curated. As award nights blur together in memory and trophies find their places on shelves, that single piece of candy, briefly shared and quietly pocketed, continues to live on through endless replays, fan theories, late-night discussions, and heartfelt comments, serving as a reminder that sometimes the smallest moments tell the loudest stories. And as the clip circulated further, it began to transcend its original context, becoming a talking point not just about Zhao Lusi and Liu Yuning, but about the nature of intimacy in the public eye, about how audiences interpret closeness when it unfolds under constant surveillance, and about the strange paradox of celebrity life where authenticity is both demanded and scrutinized to an almost impossible degree, because when a moment feels too polished, it is dismissed as fake. Yet when it feels genuine, it is interrogated relentlessly, and this candy exchange sat precisely at that intersection, ordinary enough to be believable, yet intimate enough to provoke endless analysis, prompting media commentators and casual viewers alike to weigh in on what it revealed, if anything, about the relationship between the two stars. Some argued that such comfort could easily arise from long-term professional collaboration, from shared experiences on set or behind the scenes that naturally build trust, while others insisted that even close colleagues tend to maintain a certain public distance at events of this scale, suggesting that what made this moment stand out was not the act itself, but the complete absence of self-awareness that accompanied it, the way Liu Yuning's hand moved almost automatically, the way Zhao Lusi returned the candy without ceremony, and the way neither of them appeared to register the significance the internet would later attach to those few seconds. Fans also began drawing parallels to similar moments involving other celebrities, recalling instances where minor gestures later took on symbolic meaning after relationships were confirmed, fueling the belief that small details often serve as quiet foreshadowing, while others cautioned against retroactive storytelling, warning that the human tendency to find patterns can sometimes turn coincidence into narrative. And yet even within these debates, there was a shared acknowledgement that the clip was compelling precisely because it resisted easy categorization, because it sat in a gray area that allowed multiple interpretations to coexist without a Newark one being definitively correct. Beyond speculation, the moment also sparked conversations about why audiences are drawn to subtlety in an era dominated by spectacle, perhaps because quiet gestures feel more honest, more reflective of real relationships, or perhaps because they invite viewers to slow down, to observe, and to imagine, offering a brief escape from the loudness and certainty that often characterize public discourse. And in this sense, the candy exchange functioned almost like a Mirror, reflecting back to viewers their own experiences, hopes, and definitions of closeness, transforming a trivial object into a vessel for collective emotion. As days passed and new stories emerged to compete for attention, the clip refused to fade. Resurfacing in compilations, reaction videos, and think pieces that dissected everything from body language to seating arrangements, each new analysis adding another layer to the evolving narrative, and still, the silence from Zhao Lusi and Liu Yuning remained unbroken, a silence that some interpreted as strategic restraint, others as genuine indifference to the noise. But either way, it reinforced the idea that not every moment needs explanation, that some stories gain their power precisely because they are left open-ended, allowing audiences to fill in the blanks with their own meanings, in a broader sense. This episode underscored how celebrity culture thrives on the tension between visibility and mystery, how stars are expected to share enough to feel accessible yet withhold enough to remain intriguing, and how moments like this candy exchange strike a delicate balance between the two, offering just enough authenticity to feel real without revealing anything concrete. And as the discussion gradually settled into a quieter hum, the moment continued to be referenced as an example of how something so small can resonate so widely, reminding fans and observers alike that while awards ceremonies celebrate achievement and recognition, it is often the unscripted, human interactions unfolding on the sidelines that linger longest in memory. Ultimately, whether the candy was nothing more than a sweet snack shared between two colleagues or a subtle expression of familiarity that hinted at a deeper bond, its impact was undeniable, capturing attention not through drama or declaration but through simplicity. And in doing so, it reaffirmed a truth that audiences instinctively understand, that authenticity, even when accidental, carries a power that no amount of planning can replicate. And if this deep dive into a single, fleeting moment resonated with you, offering a glimpse into the quieter side of stardom and the stories that emerge when we pay attention to the details, thank you sincerely for reading. Don't forget to subscribe to 24H News, TM for more exclusive stories, thoughtful analyses, and viral moments from the entertainment world, and join the conversation by sharing your perspective in the comments below. Was it simply a friendly gesture captured at the wrong time, or do you believe there was something more quietly unfolding behind that unforgettable exchange?